Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today we'll be talking about a cutoff low that'll be developing across parts of the Ohio Valley. That could bring in some flooding issues uh, on the western side of that cutoff low there. We're going to get started with the excessive rainfall outlook. As you guys might have known already, that across parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee has experienced quite a bit of flooding over the last couple of days here. That's due to the remains of Nicholas, which is still sticking around there in Louisiana. Finally, its remains will start to move to the north here. And well, the low pressure system isn't really there, but its tropical moisture is still sticking around here over a good chunk of the deep south here. And that's since going to be moving to the north here, bringing in flooding issues again across parts, not only for across parts of the deep south, but even up into parts of the lower Ohio Valley. So it'll be shifting a little bit further to the north here. But if this is the day one excessive rainfall outlook, we did have a moderate risk across parts of northern Alabama and southern Tennessee. That's since now been removed by the latest update from the Weather Prediction Center. So we now been downgraded to a slight risk across some of those same areas. Meanwhile, we got a large marginal risk area from down to Florida all the way up into parts of the lower Ohio Valley as well. So some flooding issues will likely continue, especially in the slight risk area. Then on day two, which is tomorrow, we got a couple of slight risk areas. We got one across the across northern Georgia, northeastern Alabama, parts of southern Tennessee, even for upstate South Carolina and far southwestern North Carolina. We got another slight risk area for southeastern Georgia and southern South Carolina as well. Some of those places could see several inches of rain as well. But then on day three, this is where things get very interesting here. Pay attention to this zone up here, the slight risk area right up here. That does include across most of Indiana, western Ohio, southeastern Michigan, and even across parts of northwestern Kentucky as well. That's an area that needs to be monitored here for the potential for a lot of rain in a short period of time that could lead to some flooding issues. And we're going to start off by checking out GFS. Now, I want you guys to kind of look at the 500 millibars first to kind of understand this a little bit better of what could be happening here. But let's see what's going on right now. And a couple things to mention here. The remains of Nicholas is still sticking around there. Eventually, its remains will move to the north here in northeast. At the same time, here we got the remains of Odette, which may try to redevelop somewhere in the North Atlantic. We also got a ridge of high pressure out here as well, keeping all the uh, shower thunderstorm activity and some of those flooding problems across some of those areas as well. Eventually, that high pressure system will start to move to the east, and then you start to see this trough move in across parts of the central United States. Now, at the head of that trough, we could see some severe weather across parts of the upper Midwest, down across parts of the Ozarks as well. So these areas here need to monitor here for the potential for some severe weather. All hazards will be possible with the setup here. The tornado threat will be more focused further up north. The hail threat will stay further to the south, and everybody will see that damage wind risk as well. The risk is kind of on the low end of the scale, but there may be a slight risk area out there. It's a broken line of thunderstorms to be moving to the east. But you can see here as we kind of continue on here, this ridge of high pressure really starts to amplify just off the east coast there of the United States, bringing in above normal temperatures across parts of the northeast. And then at the same time, you get this trough here to be moving in. And now, as we kind of continue on over the next couple of days here, you'll start to notice here this several part of this trough here will be cut off from the jet stream here. And watch this. As we move into Tuesday evening, you see here the trough of the southern side starts to get deeper. But look on the northern side here, it starts to get cut off from the main jet stream here. This is what we call a cutoff low. You'll start to see a low pressure system develop somewhere on the southeastern side of that trough, and it'll deepen here. And unfortunately, it'll stick around for about a day or two, and it'll start to move to the northeast. So watch what happens here. So this is now Wednesday morning, and you have at this point here, you should start to see a low pressure system develop somewhere in Tennessee and Kentucky. But you'll start to notice here, this trough here really starts to deepen here, and you'll start to notice here if you look further up to the north, starts to get cut off from the main jet stream. And then here's Wednesday. Low pressure system and the trough itself really starts to amplify here. At the same time, there'll be bands of moderate to heavy, at times heavy rain on the western side of this system here. You'll start to curve more to the northwest here because now at this point here it's a cutoff low. You notice here some orange colors start to show up. That's the ridge of high pressure cutting off that low pressure system. So it's going to stick around there. Now this is more of a progressive side of things here. The GFS is typically too aggressive or progressive, I should say, with these systems here. So this is a little too fast. But I'll show you guys some of the other models. But you'll start to see this cutoff low somewhere around Ohio, and on the western side and some points to the southern side could see bands of moderate to at times heavy rain, and that could lead to some flooding issues. Out ahead of it could be maybe a low end risk for some severe weather, because if we kind of go back here a little bit, it'll become a little bit more of a negative tilt trough, which you can see right here. And typically with negative tilt troughs out ahead of it, you can see some severe weather. Also at the same time here, that's actually the remains of what's now Tropical Storm Peter, which may affect parts of Bermuda. At just in the north here, you got a ridge of high pressure as well. So very interesting there. And as we kind of move on to Thursday, eventually this cutoff low starts to finally move to the northeast as it starts to attach to the jet stream again. And then another trough may move into the United States next weekend. Let's check out the European. Well, actually, let's check out the GFS model first. This is the precipitation, and you'll start to notice here again, you'll have this strong cold front that moves in across the central United States. They'll bring in some below average temperatures on the back side of that. And then when it starts to become a cutoff low, you'll start to see a low pressure system develop somewhere in Tennessee and Kentucky. You'll start to see there move up to the northeast, and then the bands of moderate heavy rain really starts to amplify on the western side of the system here. That's where you have a lot of energy in the upper levels of the atmosphere. There'll be some instability and a lot of wind shear, which this could lead to organized bands of heavy thunderstorms training over some of the same areas, especially with that wind shear. That's going to keep them organized, and that's going to be a big issue here. Plus, with high precipitable water numbers, which will be between 1.7 to 2 inches, which is a little bit high for this time of year. As we're getting kind of getting into fall, now with precipitable waters 1.7 to 2 inches during the summertime, it's not really that high, but considering as we kind of go into fall, it's going to be a little bit high for this time of year. So with those high precipitable water numbers, you could possibly see some high rainfall rates out of these thunderstorms or showers. You can see it kind of sticks around there for a couple of days. Now, then again, this is a little bit progressive solution, and I'll show you guys the European model, which I think is going to be a little bit more accurate here. And then it starts to move off to the northeast. I'll show you guys the rainfall totals when we kind of get through these other models here. So here's the European model. Pretty much going to be the same thing here. Strong cold front kind of moves in. You'll start to notice a low pressure system will develop somewhere in Tennessee, Kentucky vicinity. There it is right there. You got a 1011 millibar low in Severn, Kentucky, which it's not really a strong low, but it will start to deepen very quickly here over the next several hours there. It's not going to be a rapidly deepening low, but it'll be deepening. But you'll start to see on the western side here, more of those yellow and orange colors start to show up here. So we kind of go on here. You do see some of that shower and thunderstorm activity going on out there, which can train over some of the same areas here. A few hours later, we're down to 1,007 millibar low. So it's kind of going down maybe about a millibar about every hour, but eventually it'll start to slow down as it becomes a cutoff low. And good news is, with cutoff lows, they die down over time, so it won't really deepen here without the support of the jet stream. But bands of moderate heavy rain will likely continue here, even though if it slowly weakens, you'll still see bands of moderate heavy rain on the western side of this low pressure system, and eventually it should move out by Thursday night. we'll check out the NAM, which doesn't go for the entire event, but you'll kind of see here the very similar scenario here. Here comes your cold front here, and even out ahead of it with the remains of Nicholas kind of sticking around here. Check out all that tropical moisture out there. That could definitely lead to some flooding issues if that verifies. But watch this here. So your front now starts to stall out here because a low pressure system will start to develop here. So that's why the front will start to stall out. And as we kind of get into Wednesday afternoon, here's your low pressure system kind of over central Kentucky. But look on the backside here. Now this is a little bit more higher resolution model. And you do see those bands of moderate to at times heavy rain uh, back there. You see here, then it kind of stays stationary or kind of sticks around Ohio. You start to see those bands of moderate heavy rain continuing to go over some of the same areas. Even along the front there, could see some training thunderstorms as well. But really, the main area to focus right here will be on the backside of the low, which will be parts of Indiana, Ohio, southeastern Michigan, even to parts of central and western Kentucky as well. But right now, it seems like the NAM's a little further to the south than some of the other models show. But we'll show you guys some of these rainfall totals here. This is going to be the concerning part here, is how much rain will fall. Now here we are back to the GFS model. You'll see here the progressive solution here, even before the trough arrives here. You'll still see some bands of showers of thunderstorms from the remains of Nicholas kind of go over some of the same areas. As you can see here from the GFS model, it does show some areas getting to at least an inch of rain in some places. Even look into parts of southern South Carolina, over 2 inches of rain. And those numbers will continue to go up. And then you can see here how uh, the cutoff low, there we go. The cutoff low starts to move in, and here's your end result here. You got a widespread 2+ inches of rain with isolated spots of 4 inches of rain. Well, more specifically, 3 inches of rain. But you do have some other places that could see over 4 inches of rain. I mean, there's an area of 6 inches of rain north of Louisville there, but that's just one model. Let's check out some of what the other model says. Now, the European model is not as progressive as the GFS, but I think the European model has a little bit better, a little bit more accurate solution. And here it is. You got a widespread 2+ inches of rain with some areas that could see over 4 inches of rain. It does have that bullseye across Indiana with 4 to 5 inches of rain, which is a lot for a short period of time here. But even areas that could see 2 inches rain even still has that chance to see some flooding issues, even in the 3-inch zone as well. So it's going to be a pretty widespread event here. Now, then again, the NAM does not go for the entire event, but shows a little bit more of a significant story here. A little bit on the higher side than what the other models are showing, but you do see here there's a widespread uh, 5 to 6 inches of rain across parts of Ohio and Indiana. But other than that, it also shows a widespread 2 to 4 inches of rain. So it's definitely a big concern here out of the system here. And then when you look at the icon model, it shows the same thing, a general 2 to 4 inches of rain. And the Canadian model is showing the same thing. Now, there is some uncertainties for parts of the Northeast. Uh, We have some malls that show not a whole lot of rain. We do have other malls that show quite a bit of rain. So we may need to watch for the Northeast as well. But right now, there's just too much uncertainty to really talk that much about that. But one thing's for certain here is that we actually got a little bit of a drought going on across parts of Indiana and Michigan as right now. This is the drought monitor. And some of these areas actually do need some rain. It's normally dry here. But even though if you guys are still on the drier side and actually need some rain, still, some of this rain here can still come in a short period of time. And you guys can still see some flooding issues here. Now, I will pay attention to areas a little further south where areas that do not need any rain that's seeing well above average rainfall over the last couple weeks. So it's definitely going to be a big concern for across parts of Kentucky here. I'm not sure about Ohio. I think you guys are a little bit closer to average for rainfall, but either way, areas across parts of southeastern Michigan, most of Indiana, western Ohio, even maybe to parts of central Ohio, and then central and parts of western Kentucky need to watch the setup here very closely here. We'll definitely have a better idea as we get closer to the event, and we'll see what the higher resolution models will show over the next couple of days. But anyways, guys, this is all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you do like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, put a comment section down below. I'll answer you guys questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.